The New York State Cannabis Festival is back on Saturday, June 22nd at the Broome County Fairgrounds in Whitney Point. Learn how to use cannabis both medically and recreationally from female leaders, glass blowing talent, meditation, yoga sessions, and more. Plus, stop by the Drink Like a Girl tent to sample New York State craft beer. Camping and glamping options are available. Tickets and info at NewYorkStateCannabisFestival.com. Cannabis carriers are encouraged to attend. Must be 21 and over. Hope to see you there.
Welcome back to another edition of the Pitch Putt and Puff podcast. My name is Roger, aka RGB. Appreciate everybody tuning in. This episode is brought to you by golferscbd.com. Make sure you guys check them out. Use promo code PPP10 to save yourself 10% at checkout. What they're doing is introducing a range of naturally sourced products, enhancing golfers' playing skills and capability during their training process, game preparation, performance, and relaxation. Developed and produced by golfers for golfers. Used and supported by performance and professional golfers across the U.S. and Europe. Golfer CBD is manufactured right here in the U.S. So make sure you guys go and check them out, as well as here locally. 420 Bliss, located at 740 Hoosick Road, right in Troy, New York. Up in the Walmart Plaza, stop in there. Let them know the Pitch Putt and Puff crew sent you. Bunch of great items in there, from flowers, tinctures, vapes, pre-rolls, you name it, they got it. Let them know the Pitch Putt and Puff crew sent you. And then you got to support Trouble Off the Tee, troubleoffthetea.com. Use promo code RGB for 15% off, as well as promo code PUFF for buy one, get one free on the polos. Make sure you guys take advantage of that. These polos are fire. Also, check out the book. It's available on Audible as well as Spotify. Written by Marty Minden, narrated by Jake Adams from Country Club Adjacent. It's a great listen. Make sure you go and check it out. Literally, it took me about 2 days, a day and a half to give it a listen at work. It's about a 4-hour listen. It's one of those things, like I said before, you're going to drive around the block a couple times to finish the chapter. So make sure you check them out. I'm going to bring on our guest here shortly. Going to have Kelly from the New York State Cannabis Festival. So stay tuned, and we'll get into it here in just a few minutes. Welcome back to another edition of the Pitch Putt and Puff podcast. My name is Roger, aka RGB. Going to be introducing our guest here tonight. We got Kelly Guilfoyle from New York State Cannabis Festival. What's up, Kelly? Welcome to the show.
What's up? Thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy with the big festival coming up. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the industry?
Sure. Into the event industry or the cannabis event industry?
Let's start with cannabis, then we'll get to the event.
All right, cool. So I've been a user of cannabis since teenage years. And I know we call ourselves legacy now, but I was a hustler back in the day for about 10 years. And that really did help me pay my bills and move on in life. And, I've been kind of a solo rider as a kid or a teenager. I kind of went off my own pretty young, and that helped me survive and pay my rent and all those things. And then after I was pregnant, I had to give it up. So I was, didn't want to get locked up for it, essentially.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah. So that was the industry. That's how I was introduced and had to step away, but always used. I think the plant is an incredible, I don't know. I think we all need recreation, something in our lives.
Right.
And if chosen, that's always been my first choice of all kind of recreational drugs is always been cannabis. So that's my background with cannabis pretty much. And, I got a lot of connections out here with farmers and such. I'm in upstate New York now, Rochester, born and raised in Geneva, and spent, as we kind of talked offline here, spent a lot of time in New York City doing a lot of eventing and really fine tuning my skills at that.
Yeah. So how did you get into the event side of it?
Yeah. So, I guess I'll give a little background here. So when my daughter was 1 year old, I was accepted in the Fashion Institute of Technology in Manhattan, where I moved out there. I lived in the Bronx, and I raised her until she was about 12, 13. While out there, I helped open the new Yankee Stadium. I helped open Barclays Center, where I was Jay-Z's private bartender. Got to deal with, and serve celebrities as Rihanna, I mean, Beyonce. Yeah, I mean, you name them, the biggest celebrities in the world.
Sure.
My clients, it was a great time, really fun. But then I also got to do really fun things like Red Rooster Harlem with Marcus Samuelson, world-renowned chef, right in the heart of Harlem, Malcolm X and 125th.
Okay.
The Capitol Theater as well, where Jerry Garcia's family half owns or partnered with that beautiful venue where Phil Lesh plays. So, like, I've really been engulfed in many different industries and styles of people and culture, and I appreciate all of them for different reasons, for sure. When I came back up here, I think, well, this is going to get sad, but my brother passed away from opioid addiction. So I came up for just a summer to spend time with my family. And my daughter at the time, 12, 13 years old, I thought she was there enough, intact enough to make this decision and really come at me correctly with it this time is, I want to stay here. I want to be with family, and kind of convinced me to stay. Not to say we haven't visited other times, and she had mentioned wanting to do the same, but at the time I was like, oh, she's too young to really know what's going on. This is the fun times, I wanted to vacation up in upstate New York. But anyways, convinced me to stay, and then we stayed, and I rocked out, and I worked I helped to open the all women owned craft brewery out here as the head bartender, and then the on-premise sales rep. And then from there, I was approached with a lot of sexism, a lot of misogyny and belittlement because I'm a female, and my assets were the things that sold beer. And I found that there wasn't a place for us. And it's very, it's the first bar that I ever walked into, it's a tap room, that I worked there for about 2 years before I launched Drink Like a Girl, which is a festival that I throw around craft beer and women empowerment. But I saw like maybe 4 to 5 people that weren't white. I'd say people of color. I hate that word color, by the way. I think it's minimizing a lot of different categories of culture, but regardless. And so, and they were my basketball coach from college. They were my homies from Geneva. You know what I mean? Like, I knew them on top of that. So I found like this culture, this community is beautiful in so many ways. And it really is something that I'm very proud to bring to the cannabis industry on a professional level. But it needed to be diversified. It was way too white male dominated, and it needed diversification. It needed women to be seen in this industry. That was all that they were trying to, but they were really just like sidestepping. And you have these men that really wanted to support this movement, but they didn't have a platform to come out and say they support this movement to help move that forward. So when I launched Drink Like a Girl, it blew up immediately. And then we had our first festival ready to go on March 28th, 2020. And we got shut down from COVID on March 14th. Yeah. It got hit hard there. And yeah, so I could get into Drink Like a Girl, but this isn't the podcast for that so much.
Right.
But yeah, so then fast forward some years.
But let's talk about that, though, because Drink Like a Girl kind of helped you open up the doors for the cannabis side of it, though, to get some of those connections and make people more comfortable with it as well. Absolutely, it did. I mean, I've dealt with very conservative people that, it's funny. I think the best, most ridiculous comment that I've ever dealt with was a person who said, well, it's okay to have a beer after work, but it's not okay to have a 12-pack, and that's like smoking a bowl. And I was just like flabbergasted by the amount of lack of knowledge. Right. But I wouldn't even had that meeting with that very unknowledgeable community of people, not just one person. This was a whole
community, and which in that community also had a doctor that in that same board that I had to pitch to, that ultimately didn't take the festival on, was a doctor who claimed that a 13-year-old girl recently died from opioid overdose, and that it was because of cannabis, because of the gateway of cannabis. And
Right.
it just, it blows my mind. So yes, Drink Like a Girl has definitely got me into doors to speak on this plan for sure.
Yep. That's
So
cool.
yeah, no, listen, I think Drink Like a Girl is amazing. I think there's so much tension between alcohol and cannabis, and what's one or the other, and if you do both, and it's I mean, I could go do a whole entire podcast session on just that conversation.
Right. Absolutely.
Of so many reasons why it's sad that people use, like, they want to be accepted, but they won't accept, and
Right.
things of that sort. Like, anyways, we can.
But it's even funny though, with the legalization in New York and the dispensaries opening up, the mixture of people you see walking through those doors is people who you never thought. You look at them like, there's no way that person's smoking pot or doing gummies or whatever, and now all of a sudden they're in and out. You see them twice a week going in there or whatever the case may be. So I think it's starting to lose that, that cloud over it, and starting to become a little bit more regularized.
I think so, and I think this event it kind of does a really beautiful bridge to that, where it our client base is exactly that. It's the people that they've never been to a underground cannabis event. They've never went and purchased black market. Their nephew's son or something did it. I don't know. Like, it got the cannabis for them, and then they were able to consume in their home. But it's just, this is, our festival really brings that crowd, and I really think it can make a tremendous impact with the right cannabis business partners too. I want people to understand that there's not just two sections or categories of cannabis users. We don't have hippie and hip hop. We have so many in between.
Yeah,
so
much.
We are very much trying to create a welcoming space for all walks of life, all preferences. I will say, there's, being in upstate, you have to be careful. There are a lot of red, and it's not red and blue out here. That's probably the wrong way to say it. I think, because even in this festival that I promote women empowerment, that it really does, like, exclude some of these very uneducated folks that tend to be more aggressive over things and not understand unity as much. So I think also, because I continue that force with this event, because honestly, that's what gives me purpose. I want to make money. We all want to make money. We want to be successful and have homes and all these things. But I think we all need purpose behind what we do. And so my purpose is to uplift females in all the industries. And so I think that really helps also filter out those that really don't align with our way of functioning in the cannabis world or the craft beer world.
Yep. It's funny though, you and Rihanna and I had Lindsay on as well from NY Can of Women, and I only really have met here in I see the other thing too. Upstate New York to me is where I live. You guys are Western New York to me. So it's just, that's how we do it here. So when you're saying upstate every time, I'm smiling.
That's so funny.
But like, I only really know from like in the New York area anyway, is just, I've only met women in the industry so far, which is awesome to see.
That's
because
great.
My joke with them is like, I think, I'm terrible in the garden. So women are usually most of the time better in the garden anyway. So it's cool to see though. Like, even my dispensary, I'm sponsored by Ty 420 Bliss. She's my sponsor up here.
That's awesome.
And she runs the show up there, and she does a great job and takes care of her employees very well up there. But let's hear a little bit more about this festival. I want to know, like, so where is it exactly?
Well, first off, Rihanna is a educator at it.
Yeah, she will be there, right? Yeah, she told me that.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have her.
Yeah, she's excited about camping out and doing the whole
Yeah, so it's fake camping. I call it fake camping because we've all probably done real camping or attempted it. It's definitely fake camping.
Yeah.
It kind of vibes with the craft beer world, though. It's very common to have just a place to stay to help, people not drink and drive. That's basically what this is. It's the same vibe. It's a place where people can camp for $40. It's nothing. But then you can elevate that, and we have a glamping experience.
Okay.
So we have beautiful glamping, all amenities included, glamping experience, plus a swag bag to kill for. Toro glasses, Terp slurps are as one of gifts. That's $400 value alone. But I'm just saying, like
Nice.
we really try to have that elevated niche to it too. But it's not fire, fire and all that. Campfire, sorry, couldn't get that out.
Yep.
We're not even allowed to have campfires there. I think the cool thing about this location, so it's located in Whitney Point.
Okay.
So if I lived in New York City, like I said, for a very long time in the Bronx, and I'd always commute. And prior to that, my mother's an immigrant from Brazil, but when she moved here, she moved to Queens, and then she moved to Long Island. So when I was a baby, I've been traveling back and forth from Long Island to visit my Brazilian family, and we always took the same route, and we'd always stop at Whitney Point. It was just crazy. It was like the perfect stop right off 81, and that's where this festival is, weirdly
Okay.
enough. And so the cool thing about it is you get off the exit 81 and it's right there. There's no back driving, there's no backwoods driving. It's right off this highway. It's in the middle of a village. So across the street from the grounds is like a mobile and a McDonald's and all that. Like it's very, very like prominent.
Yeah.
And that was important to me because I could go to the backwoods anywhere and throw a cannabis festival, but it was really important for me to have something that was like, hey, we're here. This is what we're doing. Check us out. And
Yep.
I pushed that even further with, apologize.
You're good.
That's the sounds of Rochester. I live downtown. So, I really, it was important to me to not hide. And
Mhm.
so, and also furthermore, I was extensively communicating with the various state divisions from SLA to OCM, just constantly emailing and trying to get like yes, no's on things. And OCM's been just horrendous to everybody, including myself with this event. But nothing's in the dark and everybody knows about it. And I actually just sat with OCM 3 days ago as well. So it's really important for me, not only as coming from an industry that isn't in the dark and professionally. I mean, obviously I was in the dark hustling and all that, but I mean, cannabis industry,
Right.
to be able to approach this with as much integrity and clarity and honesty that I possibly can. And so I went above and beyond to do that. Things I didn't have to do just to make sure that everyone feels comfortable, but also normalize things.
Right.
So this piece of land that I chose, this fairgrounds, was very thought out. It was thought out with not only because of the exposure, but the capability of camping, because I do think it's important to offer a place to stay affordably. I don't think you have to spend hundreds of dollars on accommodations to enjoy yourself in places. Right. I try to make it affordable. And so I wanted somewhere where we could stay. I knew there was alcohol going to be serving there. I wanted to support and highlight craft breweries in New York State. I also wanted to support and highlight cannabis businesses in New York State. So having an inexpensive place to stay was really, really important. So this place gave me exposure because it's in the middle of a village. It's easy access. The drive is so easy. You take 81, you get off, you're there. That was important to me.
Mhm.
It's also centered in a really centralized location within the state itself. So it's 3 hours from Buffalo, 3 hours from New York City. It's 2 hours from Rochester, 2 hours from Albany, give or take.
Yeah.
50 minutes from Syracuse, 20 minutes from Binghamton, hour and a half from Poconos. So
Okay.
like it's really this like centered location and right off this highway. So that's where the event is in a very long-winded way to tell you.
That's awesome though. But I seen that's what I mean. Everything we were talking before, where we are in Albany, everything's 2 hours away. Boston, Syracuse, boom, boom, boom. Everything's just 2
That's right.
hours
Oh
away.
yeah, that's right. You did say 2 hours. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
so
did.
it's about
It's true.
about 2 hours and change away.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about some of the things that are going to be going on there. I've seen there's going to be some glass blowing, some other things there. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So under New York State cannabis law, we cannot guarantee consumption. So we have to say that. There's a lot of green to go around. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Right.
We do give out one hitter when you walk in, similar to a beer festival where you walk in, you get a glass. And usually with a beer festival, you get the glass, you go to the brewer and you get to pour the beer and you talk to the brewer and you learn about their craft. We're creating the same kind of thing here with cannabis. You get in, you get your one hitter, you go talk to a farmer or such. Again, we can't. It's different. Our hands are tied with this one,
Right.
so it's not going to be exactly like a craft beer festival, but that's the ultimate goal, right? We want you to go and learn about this plant. So, and we want it to be in a familiar way for those that, like we said, we see this new customer coming out of the closet, right? Of the dark, and that's how else to get them to come out. Except, or I think the best way to do that is to give them a familiar place. So we want that to feel that way. So essentially, that's kind of like the vibe. But and then also Heirloom will be giving a can away, full can. So you walk in, you get your Heirloom, you get your one hitter, and then you start traveling around the festival. So in the festival, you're gonna have a lot of different vendors, from cannabis related to non-cannabis related. There's no cannabis being sold, but meaning like cannabis related, there might be like growing and soil cells and things of that, like growing products. And then you also have like Canna Cutie, who is like, I just love her. She's from Buffalo. She has this really girly vibe to things where you can get merch. And like we also have glass blowing going on, where they'll also sell the glass. We have live paint artists, which is really fun. We're actually doing they have these installations in Europe. They're like teepees, and they're wrapped in saran wrap. And so the artist is going to come and he, prior to everyone entering, he does a stencil type of thing, so that it's an interactive community art project where this huge teepee that can fit 4 people in it will be stenciled, and then you can go and paint on the teepee.
Oh shit. That's
and
cool.
Then you could also go burn it down and clam bake the teepee. So kind of like fun shit, you know? Yeah. But he's also a live paint artist, so he'll be doing that as well. We have education, like we said, Ree will be there. Yeah. I'm all about female empowerment, as I said. So this education is really powered by those females. There's a few awesome women coming out. One is one of the first certified cannabis nurses, for instance. A lot of people don't know, but the National Nurses Association finally looked at the study or the practice of cannabis nursing as a real nursing degree, or it's not a degree, but nursing certification, so that they support that now and they fund it. And that's huge for the industry. And that happened back in September of last year. And so we're going to have one of the first cannabis nurses come out and teach you, how to not just consume. It's also like how to consume while you're taking prescriptions. And there's certain times that you can't consume cannabis and take certain medications, and we need to know that, and we're not taught that right now. So like stuff like that is going to be going on as well. And then we have the Drink Like Girl bar, of course. Bar, it's we have craft beer that I'm highlighting, some dope craft breweries. Some from Ray in Rochester, Three Heads Brewing is going to come out, Grow is going to come out, Beer Tree down in Binghamton is going to come out. My goal for that is to eventually have that developed a bit more. Again, I think that by bringing everyone wonders why craft beer and cannabis. And for me, it makes complete sense. We have a craft beer community that needs to grow their following. They need to diversify their following. It is white males. It still is dominated by such, even consumers, even though that's changing a little. Then you have the cannabis industry needs to end stigma, and the white male community is the ones that can do that the most efficiently as well. Right. So I feel like the harmony of both can really make an impact on changing both industries, and then being powered by women. I mean, can't go wrong.
Nope. Yeah, I seen the one thing I wanted to say too is like with people, like new people going into it, and like say there's someone on the fence about this festival, right? You're going about everything the right way. You're meeting with OCM. You're meeting with the SLA. You're doing all that stuff to make sure that the people you're going the extra mile, basically, to make sure that these people who are on the fence know they're not going to something that the police could raid and say, hands up, get out of here, kind of thing. That's because that's the people who are on the fence. That's what they're scared of. They're still scared of that stigma of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be seen at this event, but then they're going to go there and realize that half their friends are there. Is what's going to happen. So. Yep. That's you going the extra mile, I think, though, is really going to push more of those people over that fence to go to the event.
That's the goal. I hope it all. I mean, last year was beautiful. We had about 1,100 people, and that is exactly the type of customer that came out. It was the customer that's There's some don't even smoke. They just
Yeah.
wanted to come out and learn, you know, and see what this was all about. This is a crop. This is a farmer. This is like, it's not. We have to remember that as we're talking about this plant. It literally is a plant that's farmed, and so this crop, New York is said to be one of the largest production states of this plant, and I mean, we were the largest consumers up until 2018. New York State was the largest consumers of cannabis up until 2018.
Yep.
I mean, between the consumers and the amount of land we have in upstate, yes, we are still upstate, Roger.
It's so funny.
No, it's so funny because when I lived,
what do you call us? What do you call?
You're upstate.
We're still considered upstate. Okay.
You're still upstate. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we are upstate.
You're east to west. I mean, and when you say Western New York, we call that Buffalo. So it's just funny.
You're like 40 minutes from Buffalo, though, aren't you?
We are an hour and a half.
Okay.
But no, we definitely, Western New York is 1,000% Buffalo. Rochester does not call themselves. We're more like
Central.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys are more Eastern.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Hudson Valley. I see a lot of people call it like the Hudson Valley area or the Adirondacks.
Yeah. I mean, I was born and raised in the Finger Lakes. The region of Rochester is technically the Finger Lakes, but Rochester doesn't really refer to themselves as the Finger Lakes.
Right. Which
is also kind of funny. It's a whole thing. And
it is, because we're right in that pocket between I'm not in the Hudson Valley and I'm not in the Adirondacks. I'm right in that pocket. So I guess the Capital District is what.
Yeah. But when I lived in the Bronx and I was working in Harlem, especially Harlem was the funniest. Any upstate is White Plains. Yeah, there's no other upstate. Like, there's no other New York. Upstate is so far away, and it's White Plains.
Yeah, as soon as you get to Westchester, you're upstate.
You're upstate, and it's very far away, and people never go upstate. No. And there's a whole state up here. It's actually quite beautiful and amazing.
It is crazy. I go down there every winter. I help my buddy with his Christmas tree business, so I'm down there like most of November, December.
In New York?
Yeah, we go down. We stayed. Where did I stay last year? I was on 100. I was down in Harlem, 128th and Broadway. So we weren't too far from where you. It was right by the Apollo. I wasn't far from the Apollo and stuff like that.
Yeah. Apollo's right around the corner, basically, from Red Rooster. Yeah.
Yep.
Right over there.
It was great down there. Why don't you tell me a little bit about this Canna Row? I was reading on the site. Canna Row. What's that all about? Is that where people are going to be able to get their hands on some goodies?
I mean, the Cannabis Row is, we have businesses featuring their products. And, you know, again, I have to kind of play this stupid
right, sorry.
card. No, it's fine. It's fine because I mean, I have to say those things, though. It's just part of it. But, yeah, no, Cannabis Row, it's a fun experience where you're going to learn a lot about the plant directly from the farmers, from the processors, from the dispensaries. I mean, those views are 3 different huge views to learn about this industry, right? So like you got the dispensaries are going to teach you something that's totally different than the cultivators and totally different than the processors and back and forth. And the processors work directly with the cultivators. So they have their hands-on and understanding producing their product into something, but there's nothing like talking to a farmer for me. That's where I love. That's where my connection is. Like I feel at home when I talk to the farmers. And that's the same with the brewmasters. I think brewmasters and farmers are just almost identical and they don't even know it. Like they just don't have a clue. And that's why I feel like the farmers give me the best vibes out of all the community. And that's one thing that I'm so saddened of seeing what's happening with the cannabis industry is the amount of tension and bullshit that's going on. I was really hoping for something closer to the craft beer community. And I think the craft beer community is so limited with its diversity. And how the hell would anybody understand that community unless it's shown to them? So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. The thing with the craft beer community is it's very, really, truly collaborative. Very collaborative. The biggest names in the industry are brewing beer and selling beer with the smallest names in the industry. Every time you turn around, somebody's collaborating. But not only that, they go to these festivals for the camaraderie with their peers, for the connection of their customers. That's one thing I think is totally lost already in this cannabis industry that saddens me because I think it reminds me of every other industry right now. And that sucks because I really do love this plant, and this plant has given me so many things in life, financially and otherwise, mental health and all these things. And it's just so dark, and it
Yeah.
shouldn't be. So for me, I want to I want this to be under. I want to give some of that craft beer community love into this industry. So wine, liquor, all these food, all these things. It's all about how much money I can make and how fast. And I don't care who's in my way, and I'm gonna go get it. And not, craft beer has. We need to make money. Once again, I think I kind of started this podcast that same way. Like, we need to make money. We
Right.
do, but we need to have purpose and
Right.
meaning and love and all these other things. So we're not just a money hungry community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what's going to bond people, and that's what's going to interject people to like come to our community. And so for me, craft beer, the intro of integrating craft beer with that is for that reason. So what's on Cannabis Row? A lot of good green shit and a lot of good education.
Nice. And that's the big thing. The education portion of it is a big factor, and that's really it's gonna open up more doorways down the road for you, for sure.
I live down the street from Genesee Brewing downtown Rochester, and I went there today, and I was just trying to clear my head and get some work done. Sometimes you got to get out of your own. I work from home, so I need to get out of the four walls. And there was a band, and there was a dude with a T-shirt on, and it said, activism, education is activism.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, I just thought it was so smart and simple. And probably this has been heard. Maybe I'm new to the game on this saying, but I just thought it was so beautiful how well that was put. So yes, education is so important. Like, it is what's going to help us all feel comfortable. Us, meaning like the people who don't feel comfortable with the plant.
Right.
And that goes also to craft beer. I've definitely gotten pushback from that. Like, oh, alcohol and cannabis, and not even alcohol and cannabis. Like, oh, the cannabis, there's cannabis believers, and I fully get it. I do get it too, trust me. But there's cannabis believers that believe that like alcohol is like the devil. Like, it does. It takes lives. It does take lives. I've always been a smoker over a drinker my whole life. There's a reason for that, because if you overdo that shit, you're kind of screwed. But if you overdo cannabis,
you're falling asleep.
You're gonna fall asleep. But you're also gonna be less productive. And now you've created a hippie burnout kind of vibe. And now you're making the whole community look bad. So there's bad things for both. Obviously, alcohol is much more serious than making someone look bad or getting the munchies or falling asleep. But if you're a pothead, dude, like, that's a problem too, very much. Actually, it's funny because functioning alcoholics are much more likely than functioning potheads.
Yeah,
I mean,
it makes sense.
Think about it, you know? Like, if I sit down and write an email and I get high, I can't really write that email as well as if I sat down and wrote an email and I'm sipping on a beer. It's just facts. Like, so it's equal in that sense of as a society that we have to treat both with respect and dignity and know when to use and how to use. And I do think there's downfalls of being a pothead as well. I just think it's more of a downfall in a different way than being an alcoholic that could kill that person easily. And that's a whole nother realm of things that I fully do. I have a lot to talk about too. Like, again, we could do a whole podcast on that one as well. But
so just talking here for the half hour or so, it seems like you're more than willing to go above and beyond to make sure everything's done the right way. That's what's awesome about it, and you're passionate about what you're doing and the education. You realize the educational value behind both sides of it, the craft and the cannabis side, which is cool. Remind me when we finish recording, I want to talk to you something about off air about the beer side of things.
Sure.
But so where do you see yourself with the festivals in the next 5 to 10 years?
I want to find.
This is the second one, right?
Yeah. Well, I am pitching out here in Rochester. You're actually one of the first people that I've actually announced that to. So I hope to have something out here this fall, late fall. But for this event specifically, I'm looking for the right partners to really make this thing big, really big, and really done right. But I definitely need the right partners. I think there's yeah. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
Okay.
But I'm looking for the right partners to develop this festival. I want it to bring in just like any state fair, like our state fair. I wanted to bring in that, but on a cooler level because the New York State Fair I grew up going to. I told you I'm a state champion horseback rider. That's where I got my title.
Yeah.
So I am very aware of it. I want it to be not that corny. It's become like this very detached from New York actually event. I want it to be core. I want to bring in the creators of products in New York State, and I want these small mom and pops to be repped there, and I want big companies to be helping to support this initiative. And
Right.
I want to bring communities of all walks of life. I want all music to be filled in the air. I really want this to be built to unitedly.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal with it, is build this thing together and make it look and represent what the cannabis industry is, and don't discredit, disclude, or discriminate any part of a human or any part of a community, a human, a race, or a music genre, or whatever.
Right.
It's not just hippie and hip hop. We have it in between. We also have hippie and hip hops. Let's embrace one another and really show what this cannabis industry is about. We're New York.
Yeah.
We are the ones that paved this fucking way. Like, let's do it together.
Yep, absolutely. And it's I always said, but you made me think of something else too. I always said golf and cannabis are two things that bring people from all different walks of life together. Because you can go out on a golf course and get paired up with two random people you never even met before, but by the end of the round, you're best friends. Well, not best friends, but you built a relationship with these people. You're out there for 3-4 hours with them, and then cannabis. Obviously, you go to a party or whatever. Back in the day, you're sitting there smoking a joint. All of a sudden, someone else has popped up. Someone else has popped up, and they're all different people. Like you go back to high school, it's the jocks, it's the guys who are in music, it's whatever. Yeah. But then also music now. Music is a thing too that kind of brings everybody together, from the hip hop to country to whatever. It brings people together.
And they all smoke weed.
Yeah, and everybody's smoking weed.
We all smoke weed together. Like I mean, I grew up in a home where I had a Brazilian mother and an Irish father, and those two cultures do not mix, dude. No. Like we should have never been together, right?
I'm Irish, so I get it.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you do get it, right?
I get it.
I mean, literally, my father wouldn't let my mother teach us Portuguese in the household. Like there was discrimination.
Old school.
Yeah, old school, yeah. But also it's a lot of fucked up like discrimination, racism. Like it falls in that line right in your own home. Like it's like, what the fuck? You don't get that part. But it's like, not you don't get that part. It's like, it's so hard to understand how that can happen in a home that they decided to have kids and be married. Like, it's like, what the fuck? But I don't know. I guess I'm getting at is like, I've seen so many walks of life, and I've like been exposed to so many like complete utter differences. So like I'm riding horses, listening to country, but my brother's an underground hip hop artist.
Okay,
he's one of the best rappers, like underground hip hop rappers, even now. You know what I mean? Like the dude's got fucking lyrics, got bars for days. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up also listening to country and loving that, and like so. These polar opposites have been exposed to my whole life. I want to bring that to this festival. I think we need to all come together because I can talk that language with anybody, really. I don't know if there's a single demographic that I wouldn't feel comfortable of trying or that I wouldn't want to sit and understand.
Right.
And there are some, I guess, misogynist and sexist men. That's where I cut it off. But other than that.
Yeah, but like still, like that's why I do this. I like to hear other people's stories. Like it's the cool thing about it. I've got to meet so many different people, just in the golf world, the cannabis world. Like I was telling you earlier, like I'm a big conspiracy guy. I have an XG from Tinfoil Hat on here. Like that's a shot in the dark for me, but I got him on here. It's cool as hell. Like
So
recently,
dope.
I had Mae Brennan in the golf world. She's been on that TV show on ABC. Holy moly! Like
I
stuff,
love that.
stuff like that. You're sitting back and like when you're done with the conversation, you're like, wow, that was pretty cool. I got an opportunity to talk. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
stuff. And if you told me that 3 months ago, I would have been like, you're out of your mind. Like there's no
yeah,
chance. You know what I
exactly,
mean? Like that's just how it works. So.
No, I love that, and you definitely have a passion for what you do, and I mean, how can we not support and highlight this stuff?
Right.
I don't see another world that exists outside of those things for me, and that's what I want to do. I want to listen. If this thing blows up and I make so much goddamn money, I don't know what to do with it. I'm still gonna be on your podcast. Like I really,
same.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is what we need to do. This is normal shit that we should be doing as humans, supporting
like,
one another.
At all the guests I ever like reached out to and asked them to come on. Like there was one person that asked to get paid to come on, and they were pretty popular on the social media side of things. And I was like, I can't. Like I haven't even made what you're asking me to pay you to come on the podcast. You're out of your mind. And I don't think I would ever pay a guest. And same thing. Like if I was to ever blow up, I would be the first one to jump on every small podcast because I remember being here and I would want to help them out in any possible way. And it's just, you know what I mean? Pay it forward kind of thing. That shit goes a long way in life.
It does.
It really does.
And that's the kind of leaders we need, though. Like we need people to be this thing. We did all that stuff and it still made the thing.
It must be important.
I guess. What's not important.
It's all good.
But yeah, I love that. I love that. I think
so.
It's important.
We've been sitting here talking, and I've been thinking about how do we get you to set one of these up out here in the Capital District, the Adirondacks, the Hudson Valley, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Let's go. That's what I got to say.
We got the plugs. Rihanna's got all the plugs in the world out on this side of things.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so much mental space and capacity for things. It comes down to partners. If I get the right partners, we could do whatever we want. I just need the right partners. I need the right people who want to make this shit happen with me because it's not the mental space, it's the manpower. And I like to call it women power, actually.
Yeah.
It is, though. That's what it comes down to. So
I think we get something cooking for next spring. I think that would be a good time. Give us enough time because especially if you're going to do something in the fall, get something cooking.
Listen, The Rock wanted to do something with Drink Like a Girl. We could probably do a little combo. We could hit up Dave and see what's up.
Hell yeah. Right here in Troy. Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, Kelly. So I usually like to wrap up with 3 questions.
All right.
What's your favorite strain you ever smoked?
Jealousy.
Jealousy. Wow.
I would say Jealousy. And it was from she's getting her micro license now, but oh my God. Whew, it was just like my thing about I like being lifted but still focused.
Yeah.
I mean, I like into couch shit, but it's really like, oh my God, it was just like beautiful. It just like, it was such beautiful, lifting, euphoric, easy to function high. And so, I would say Brilliant Organics micro license. Go check them out. They're out in the Ithaca area. Melissa, female owned. Jealousy.
That sounds I never got my hands on that yet. I'll have to try that out.
Jealousy's the shit.
I'm the same way though. I was always like growing up was like a sour diesel guy or like
New York all day. That's New York strand.
Yeah, the old school like that hasn't been around probably since the mid 2000s, like the old school strain.
Yeah.
But that was always my favorite. But I'm also the type who likes to be able to smoke and still get shit done. Like I don't like.
And that's where sativa is, where it's at, and that's a strain of sativa
or like a hybrid. I can mess with a hybrid. Like I used to like to go smoke and go play basketball, and because I would get more creative. I throw that no look pass or throw a pass. You know what I mean? Take a crazy shot or do something. It lowers
your tension. Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't care. You don't give a shit. You're taking chances, kind of thing.
Yeah. Then you need that, man. We all need that. We all need goddamn release, and that comes back to like I said. I see there's abuse with alcohol, and I think that it could totally be turned around with cannabis on that level when people get that dark and that deep. And I think this plant can save those lives. Like I really do. But I don't think a real alcoholic would ever see that without help. And I think that being intertwined with both could actually make a difference with some of the alcoholism and deaths. So anyways, I just went on a total tangent with your beautiful question. I apologize.
You're good. You're absolutely good. Now, do you prefer smoking glass or like blunts, joints?
I love blunts. I've always been a Dutch girl. I like, and I also I hate these small things that the wraps. They're not wraps. Are they called wraps? Yeah, where you gotta. They don't even have a real leaf around them.
The mini blunts you're talking about?
Yeah, like the mini
cigarillos.
I hate those things, man. Like I want a real Dutch, a vanilla, even though it's not called really vanilla. That's what I know it as. And I want to be able to roll it up and make sure it fucking is molded properly and taken care of. And like, like I feel like you can't do that with that bullshit. And papers are cool. Like I have papers. That's what I have right now. But I'm not even a big paper person. All day Dutches.
Yeah. I was growing up, I was Dutches for days. Like we used to smoke. Like for example, in 2006, me and my buddies went out to Jamaica, and we all brought like a box of Dutches because we got our hands. I don't know. We spent like $400 on like a pound of weed out there.
Word.
And it was gone in like 5 days because we were rolling them like 3 long and 2 wide, like just being stupid with it. We didn't think we were gonna get rid of it when we seen it all. But like we were always Dutches, and then as I got older, I slowly started doing like the cones, and now I like to roll them with like the glass tips on the end because I'm getting a little bougie as I'm getting.
Yes, let's go, little cutesy.
Yeah, so I like those. And I feel like you get the flavor a little bit better with the glass tip in there.
For sure. No, I feel you. But how about when, I don't know if you can relate to this. I remember when I used to have to take an apple and create a bowl out of it.
Water bottles and
water bottles all day, Pepsi. But the apple was like something I never forgot. Yes, always Pepsi bottles, flatten it, put the holes in it.
Pop my earring out to put the holes in it and shit.
Yeah, get all that. Yeah, definitely.
Old school days. We were just talking. I think I was talking to Rihanna and Lindsay about it. Growing up here in upstate, like high school, we couldn't go in someone's house and smoke.
Right.
So where I grew up, there was a car wash, and we used to go to this car wash and like close the bay doors and hotbox it.
Yes, a self car wash.
Yeah,
now we don't even have self car washes anymore.
Nope.
All the shit you got to drive through, but there's a couple in Geneva where I grew up that's still there, and I'm like, I definitely did that. I definitely clam baked that shit out.
Yep, absolutely. That's the shit we had to do. I mean, we were like riding our bikes down there.
Yeah, for sure.
Last question to wrap it up is, if you had the opportunity to smoke with someone, who would it be?
Obama.
Wow.
I don't know why. I just think him and I could have a beer and smoke together and kick it. This sounds weird because I love women and that is my thing. Like, I want to pick up women. I want to be around women. I want to meet other women. But I would love to fucking smoke with Obama and have a beer with him.
Okay, that wouldn't be my political choice. Sorry to say.
Oh, good. It's not even political. I think there's something about him. Like I like him.
I liked him in the beginning. I really did. He was
not politics. I am not talking about politics at all. I swear to you, like I don't even talk politics because my mother. You want to talk politics? I'll put you on the phone with the right woman. She does it all. Like I won't even get in. I won't say 2 sentences about politics other than like. Don't bring that politic bullshit to me because I've dealt with that shit in this community and
I could imagine.
I've been dealing with senators, assemblywomen, officials, lawyers, all this shit to pull this event off. I've never seen so many children in a professional state level in my whole goddamn career.
That's the scary thing about it, ain't it?
It's fucked up. Sorry,
that's the problem.
It has nothing to do with politics. I do not like politics. I will not talk politics. If whatever you got to say, I can put you on the phone with somebody, my mama, but I don't do that. So no, legitimately, I don't know what it is about. You asked the question. I never really thought about the question.
Yeah. You came out with it real quick.
That's for real. Like I just like his vibe. And I know he was one of the first to bring craft beer into the White House, which I thought was really dope, like in the craft of. And so I don't know. I just think like he's got this like energy about him, and fucking Michelle's the shit. So like if she okays him, I okay him too. So I don't know. I just want to kick it with President Obama. Like,
so that's cool though. But there's reason behind it though, because you have the same interest and stuff. So like, it's
yeah,
not
I
just
just
because
think
it's
we could
Obama.
really
Yeah,
talk about it. No, yeah, it's not like
yeah,
no. I think we could have some really cool conversations around
yeah,
it. I really do. And while, like I said, have a beer and let's smoke a blunt at the same time.
yeah,
For some reason, I think that him and I can kick it.
yeah. Mine would be, since you play college hoop, you said, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. So mine would be Jason Williams, White Chocolate.
Let's go.
That's my guy.
Cool. Dope. I like that.
He's a smoker. He's a golfer now. He's on the ball. He's hilarious on a couple podcasts I recently watched him
That's
on.
amazing.
He just started his own. That was literally like who I played like. Like that was, I watched him do something, I would emulate it the next day. Like I would practice his elbow pass when he did that.
Yeah.
That was my guy. So like that was the one dude. If I had a chance to hang out and play golf with, that'd be him. Or smoke with, that would be him.
Yeah,
sure.
I grew up in the Rodman Jordan years, you know.
Yep. Oh
like,
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
the
dope.
good old days. The good old
days, man. The good old days.
All right, here's one to keep it into sports real quick. This is an extra bonus question.
Let's go.
Caitlin Clark.
Oh my God, heaven. She's the shit. Oh my God, she's changing the fucking game.
But she's getting abused out there, right? So you've played. Where the hell are her teammates? No one's got her back. Like if any team I played on, if I was getting knocked to the floor like that, someone on that team's either getting pushed. Someone's got my back. That shit bothers me. And I don't even think it's because she's the young white. I just think it's because she's getting all this attention, and they're jealous of. But they should be like,
uplifting her.
They should be praising her. Like, yo, you brought all these people. We're getting more money now. Like you're drawing the attention. Like they're going. Like I don't know. As an athlete,
Caitlin's built for this.
Different. She is built. This bitch is built for this shit.
This is what she was born to do. So don't you worry about Caitlin. She got it.
She does. I mean? Like, she's impressive, man. She really is.
So that chick is made to break glass ceilings, and she will. And that she'll be just fine.
It's got me watching women's basketball for the first time since Candace Parker. Candace Parker came into the league.
Because we definitely. Trust, when I was playing ball, nobody was paying attention.
No. Like I have a 6-year-old daughter, so she's into basketball, softball, and I have her playing golf, of course.
I love that.
Like I'll put on during the March Madness, I would throw the games on, and we watched the LSU Iowa game. That was actually right here in Albany. We were watching it on TV, and she's sitting there and she's watching the game. And I'm like, look, she's passing, trying to break down basketball a little bit to her to understand it.
It's such a big deal. Like my daughter is the ultimate feminist. Like. This girl is like magic queen style feminism, like in such a beautiful, elegant way too. Like, and so yeah, she played ball a little bit, but it wasn't her thing. She actually became, which is crazy because she's mixed too, but she became a sailor.
Sailor?
She's she is she competes in sailing.
Oh shit.
Like boating, sailing. Yeah.
How the hell do you even get into something
Dude,
like that?
it was like a summer camp thing that I was like, yo, wouldn't it be cool if you tried this? She was in 5th grade of the summer 5th grade, going into 6th. Yeah. And I was like, she tried a bunch of sports, and I could, if it doesn't hit, you don't push a kid, Yeah,
right, exactly.
Like, yeah, let's try this one. And we had just came out here. This is when I decided to stay upstate, and no, it was right before that because she came for the camp. So she did a camp, and the girl fell in love with it. Like
that's awesome.
Fell in love with this thing, and she competed in sailing all the way up through. Now she's graduating. She's going to college.
That's cool.
It's crazy.
And that's the thing too. Like you said, you don't want to push me. Like I love basketball. Yeah. I was a baseball guy. Like I love golf. Like so, I'm not trying to push. Like my daughter. I bought her like a mini golf cart, like Power Wheels golf cart 2 or 3 years ago. And she would drive it around the yard, and I would be doing yard work, and I'd see her just hitting the golf ball around. Because like I didn't want her to do it because that's what dad's going to do on the weekends kind of thing.
It'll fuck it up. Yeah.
So I got her clubs this Christmas, and I said, whenever you want to go out, let me know. She's like, yeah, let's go. This is a couple weeks ago. So I brought her up, and we went golf, and I was like, I literally go to the guy in the clubhouse. I'm like, I'm probably going to use the cart for like 3 holes. So putt a couple times on the green, and we'll come back. Yeah, well, it was we got there at 6:30. It was about 8 o'clock by the time we're coming back in. It was past their bedtime, put it that way. I had to I'm like, Lila, we got to go. And she's like, no, I think I'm going to stay. I want to stay. I'm like, we have to go. The park's closing. Well, Dad, we can play a couple extra, right?
Aww.
I'm like, no, not right now. We can't. So it's cool though that she's passionate about it. And then like softball, she's
That's
in
a
softball.
great sport too for women to get into college with.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of people play.
There's not.
Yep.
It's a
So
really
that's a big
good
one.
sport.
And then the one thing I noticed too that's really cool is like her dance. She does dance, ballet, and tap, but like the way she's dancing, sliding her feet, doing these different dances. When she's on a basketball court, she knows how to slide her feet. She's not crossing her feet.
Yeah, good call. Yeah.
When she's playing softball, she's sliding her feet to the ball instead of like tripping over. I'm like, huh? She goes, Dad, it's just like whatever chasse or whatever the hell the dances they do. I don't know.
I love it.
And I'm like, yeah, just like that, but like playing defense in basketball because I coach her sliding her feet. So it's really cool to see her getting involved in it. And,
hey, but find out what that word is.
Yeah,
whatever, sachet.
Yeah, that's it.
Let her know that you know her words too.
Yeah, I try, but I'm not good at them because she only tells me like once. I'll figure it out.
You can do it.
I think that was
it. A lot to her.
Right.
That's coming from a mom who plays both sides.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned like I've been raising my kid on my own since she was 1. That's sole parent here. So like it's really important for them to know that you appreciate those things too. And coming from a man, and this is important for a man to a girl, is for you to see her as a girl too and know those little silly words. And of course you do. Like I can hear it. I can hear that you never pushed her and that she's naturally going here. And so show her a little I think it's such a big thing to know that it's no silly. I have to learn silly things. This girl, my daughter, is like 18 and she's teaching me shit. And like I have to like Google and like, okay, what is this she's talking about? Like,
right.
I gotta care. And so always give that little extra boost. I'll say that as a
all these new words they come out with all the time.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's just silliness. That'll never catch on to. That'll never catch on to. But there's like certain things in art, right? So I'm an artist, but I haven't practiced art in so long. And there's certain terminology in art and stuff that she'll talk to me about, and I won't have a fucking clue what this word is. And just trying to learn it is like important, where the next conversation I have with her, I'll just come out and like use the word. And then it's like she's seen. And that's the most important thing, right? That these kids feel seen. So
That's it. Yeah, it's being a sports guy and stuff, I was so nervous when I found out it was a girl, but there's nothing nothing better than being a girl.
That's awesome.
Being a girl dad. It's like so cool.
Girl dads are the best.
It's so cool. She's so much fun.
I'm glad she's got a good one. That's awesome.
That's cool. We had a great Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Thank you. Yeah, she tried to go golfing with me and the boys this morning. I was like, "You're going with the Pitch Puff crew today, honey. You can't go today."
You can't do that one. Can't do that one.
Can't do that one.
I love that.
So Kelly, appreciate your time. I really do. I hope to link up soon. If you're ever over in the eastern side of New York, hit me up if I ever head out there. I do occasionally go out to like the Buffalo area for a comedy show every once in a while. So if I do pop out there, I'll hit you up for sure.
Well, you should come out to the New York State Cannabis Festival on June 22nd. You can get that information at the NewYorkStateCannabisFestival.com. Instagram channels are NYS Cannabis Fest on both Facebook and Instagram. So your followers should come. We should chill. It'll be fun. You can buy
2 hours.
Stay up. And, there's camping. Lots of fun shit.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to talk to a couple of the boys and see if they want to pop out for the day or something just to check it out. Like I said, it's only 2 hours, so it's drive down, drive back for sure.
Definitely. Come chill.
Awesome. Kelly, really appreciate your time. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Did I cover everything? Do we got anything else to plug?
We're good. Thank you for having me. I love this talk. This is great.
Awesome. Appreciate you. We'll talk soon. Later. Really dope with Kelly hopping on. Really appreciate her time. A lot of knowledge in the cannabis industry for sure. Let's wrap this up though. We got to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. First and foremost, golfercbd.com. Make sure you guys check them out. Golfercbd.com. Use promo code PPP10 to save yourself 10% at checkout. What they're doing is introducing the new essentials to every golfer's toolkit, Golfer CBD. These products are formulated by golfers for golfers for every phase of your game, preparation, performance, and recovery. The Golfer CBD line includes only ingredients necessary to enhance your game and in strengths that work. All the products are THC-free, so competitive golfers can be sure they're not violating any WADA rules. Appreciate everybody tuning in here. We got to give a shout out to 420 Bliss, located at 740 Hoosick Road, Troy, New York. Make sure you check out the website. www.420-bliss.com. And on Instagram, you can find them at 420bliss New York. The Troy page got blocked. So Trouble Off the Tee we got as well, troubleofftheT.com, promo code RGB for 15% off. And then you got the promo code for Puff, buy one, get one free on the polos. Appreciate everybody tuning in here. It's we're going to come back at you tomorrow with a recap show. We had a long Father's Day weekend on the golf course. So hopefully tomorrow night we'll get the boys on. We'll have some of the upstate golf guys on. We had a little prequel to the Legends event coming up here on the 4th of July. But appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate Kelly from the New York Cannabis Festival for her time. That sounds like a really dope event. See if any of the boys want to hop out for the day and check it out. But we'll talk soon.
The New York State Cannabis Festival is back on Saturday, June 22nd at the Broome County Fairgrounds in Whitney Points. Learn how to use cannabis both medically and recreationally from female leaders. Glass blowing talent, meditation, yoga sessions, and more. Plus, stop by the Drink Like a Girl tent to sample New York State craft beer. Camping and glamping options are available. Tickets and info at NewYorkStateCannabisFestival.com. Cannabis carriers are encouraged to attend. Must be 21 and over. Hope to see you there. The New York State Cannabis Festival